NASCAR tested rain tires at Richmond yesterday, and let's talk more about Circuit of the Americas. Will NASCAR return? Should NASCAR return? And how will NASCAR officiate rain racing in the future? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric and welcome to Out of the Groove. I hope your week is going well. We've still got more to talk about after this past weekend's inaugural NASCAR Cup Series Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas. We're going to talk about the track itself, some of the impressive attendance figures, what Speedway Motorsports head Marcus Smith had to say about it, and we're going to talk more about racing in the rain, both at road courses and potentially at ovals in the near future. What can NASCAR do differently? What should they do differently, keeping driver safety in mind? We'll hear what some folks from NASCAR and what some drivers had to say about it. And it's Tuesday, which means Show and Tell Tuesday is back. We'll see what kind of stuff y'all sent me in the last week, and we'll show that off on the show here today. But first, this episode of Out of the Groove is sponsored by the Ridge Wallet. The Ridge Wallet features a simple but sleek design. I love the matte black titanium exterior, but they have over 30 different styles and colors to choose from, so you're sure to find a design that stands out to you. Its lightweight feel makes it super easy and convenient when you're on the go, and Ridge has a special offer for viewers of Out of the Groove. You can head to ridge.com/groovy or go to ridge.com and use promo code GROOVY at checkout for 10% off your order. Again, that's ridge.com/groovy. And just so you know, they don't only sell great wallets, they also sell other products. Like, I've been using this Ridge commuter backpack for years when I go to racetracks. Super durable, super high quality, so be sure to check out their entire catalog of products. Father's Day is coming up, and the Ridge makes a great gift. You can shop their entire Father's Day guide on their website and find the gear that's best for your dad. Again, be sure to use that promo code GROOVY for 10% off your order. Thank you to the Ridge Wallet for supporting Out of the Groove. Now, before we talk about Circuit of the Americas, let's actually hit on some news from yesterday. NASCAR quietly tested rain tires at Richmond Raceway. This is the second time NASCAR has tested rain tires at an oval track in the last couple of months. They tested at Martinsville earlier this year, with Kyle Larson saying afterwards that he thought the tires were ready to go, that he thought they were up to the task. No idea how the test at Richmond went yesterday. I've seen absolutely no photos or videos. Very few in the media have been talking about it, so not sure how it went, but this story feeds into more of what we're going to be talking about here in just a moment, so I figured it was worth mentioning. NASCAR said back during that Martinsville test that the goal, at least, is to develop a tire that can race in damp conditions, not wet, rainy conditions like we saw most of the weekend at COTA, but damp conditions at tracks like Richmond, New Hampshire, Phoenix, perhaps 1 mile and shorter flat tracks. Not sure if we'll see this at Dover, or maybe honestly not sure if we'll see this at Bristol, where it's high speed, high banked. That might get sketchy very quickly. But NASCAR is continuing to try and develop new ways to fight back against Mother Nature. I'm a fan of that, but after this weekend's race at COTA, there are certainly some more questions that need to be raised about NASCAR's rain racing procedures before we begin to see rain racing at more and more types of tracks. So let's talk more about Circuit of the Americas, because that still seems to be all anyone is talking about so far this week, which could be considered a good thing. That NASCAR's first trip to Austin left quite a large impression. But most of what people are saying about NASCAR's handling of the rain on Sunday especially has been relatively negative. You guys have all probably seen that clip of Kevin Harvick speaking to Dustin Long after his wreck during the race on Sunday.
We don't have any business being out in the rain, period. So, you know, all I can say is this is the worst decision that we've ever made in our sport that I've been a part of, and I've never felt more unsafe in my whole racing career, period.
Strong words from the veteran champion NASCAR Cup Series driver right there. Many others have chimed in. I saw on Twitter today, Elliott Sadler, former NASCAR driver himself, said that Harvick was 100% correct. We tried telling y'all this years ago when we were hydroplaning around mid-Ohio with no vision at all. I felt the same way. Crazy, unsafe in the rain, stupid to race these cars in rain. So several drivers criticizing NASCAR's decision to let them run in not necessarily a heavy rain, but as I said in my video on Sunday night, it was a very consistent light rain, pretty much from green to the finish. But many other drivers focused more primarily on the visibility issues themselves, and namely the spray, what they call the rooster tails that the cars were kicking out behind them in those wet conditions. It wasn't so much the rain coming down that was hurting their visibility, more so it was just those huge clouds, those just dust ups of water flying everywhere that made visibility visibility at certain portions during the race nearly impossible. A couple drivers I saw, like Joey Logano, AJ Allmendinger, sort of were wondering aloud if anything could be added to the cars to mitigate some of those spray effects, like, I don't know, something like mud flaps almost. I mean, there's a whole nother can of worms that opens up, plenty more aerodynamic and race car challenges that something like mud flaps or a different kind of diffuser might present, but definitely some things to think about if NASCAR is going to race at more road courses and potentially bring rain tires to oval tracks eventually. Something's going to have to be changed on these cars if they're going to race in any sort of moderate rainstorm. For those who didn't watch the race on Sunday, all of this discussion really stems from two major incidents that took place about midway through the race. Circuit of the Americas has that long back straightaway into a heavy braking zone in turn 12. That's where I was sitting out there for most of the weekend getting rained on. And as the race continued on and the rain continued to fall, that portion of track got wetter and wetter. There were standing water puddles, and as the race went on, visibility became more and more of a concern, especially after restarts when the whole field was bunched pretty close together. Then it was just water being kicked up everywhere. It was, you saw on those onboard cameras of like Truex and Harvick, could not see anything. So Kevin Harvick at one point lifted way early, got run into by Bubba Wallace. Other drivers, Christopher Bell was caught up in it as well. NASCAR chose to not red flag the race and dry the track. Instead, they restarted just a few moments later, and that led to that scary accident with Cole Custer and Martin Truex Jr. piling into each other. NASCAR then realized their mistake, red flagged the race. They dried that portion of the track and restarted it shortly thereafter, and then didn't have any other real concerns with visibility until the very end of the race when they ultimately called it 14 laps early. I talked about my video Sunday night that the big mistake NASCAR made was not throwing the red flag and drying the track after the initial Harvick-Bubba Wallace wreck. Trying to restart immediately and then seeing the Truex Custer wreck, that was a bad idea. They should have red flagged it sooner, but I also understand that's a difficult judgment call from NASCAR's perspective. Scott Miller, NASCAR VP of Competition, basically said as much speaking to the media after the race.
You know, we probably did. You know, I would kind of own the fact that maybe we did let it go a little bit too long there before we did something. So, but it's a learning experience for all of us. We will learn. We'll be better next time. And I think probably, you know, your original question of would we pull the plug earlier? Probably so.
NASCAR did say after the race that they're going to look at some high-res photos to see exactly where the spray was being kicked up from, to see if maybe they can come up with some ideas to tweak on the cars before, you know, other road courses this year, like Road America has some pretty long straightaways that get up to high speeds. Indy road course, the front stretch is pretty long, could get pretty fast, so definitely going to want to iron some of this out if NASCAR has any hopes of racing in the rain at other road courses this year. But that being said, NASCAR says they do still plan on racing in wet or damp conditions, just maybe not in quite as heavy of rain showers. But this is why I think many fans and drivers are still a bit critical of NASCAR even a couple days removed from Sunday's event, is because NASCAR said all this before. And this is a good point that many people have raised that I didn't talk about at all during my Sunday race recap, but it's worth mentioning here today. You know, Sunday's race was probably the wettest NASCAR race since last year's Charlotte-Roval Xfinity Series race, and that race was probably even wetter than what we saw at COTA. And you'll remember NASCAR kept racing through heavy rain, some serious puddles on the track, guys spin out, leaders spinning out at certain points. NASCAR kept racing for a long time before eventually putting out the caution flag and stopping the race for a period of time. NASCAR said after that race that, oh, okay, we won't do that again. We left them out there too long. The conditions were unbearable. We should have thrown the red sooner. They said it then. So why did they not learn from that? Because the conditions at COTA, while the rain, and granted I was at COTA, I was not at Charlotte last year, so I can't compare the rain perfectly head to head, but it certainly seemed like the rain wasn't as heavy at COTA, but the track is so different than the Roval, that long back straightaway, the high speeds associated with it, going into those tight turns, tight corners that the Roval does not have. You'd think NASCAR could have looked at the differences between the two tracks, and based off what they learned at the Roval last year, they should have been able to apply better judgment to the Circuit of the Americas race. You'd think that, right? Clearly that didn't really happen. NASCAR left the Cup cars out there a little bit too long, and they admitted it afterwards. But this is where the criticism comes from. NASCAR didn't seem to learn a whole lot from the Roval, so why should we believe them when they say they've learned from Circuit of the Americas? And I think that's actually a fair criticism. Look, NASCAR's in a difficult situation. Obviously, they want to get the race in as close to on time as possible, and they don't want to have to red flag the race and break up the action and extend the TV window if they don't feel like they have to. It's a judgment call, and at a big road course track like Circuit of the Americas, or like really any road course on the schedule, it's not uncommon for one portion of the course to not be that wet and another portion of the course to be extremely wet. So it's difficult to look at all the different corners individually and judge, ooh, turn 11's a little wet, but turn 5 and 6 are super dry. Is that worthy of a red flag? There are a lot of judgment calls and snap decisions that need to be made in the moment by NASCAR. They have a lot of people at the track. They have a lot of eyes in different portions of the speedway. They should be able to make these decisions better than they have, but I also understand that it is a difficult judgment call when you weigh in all the other contributing factors, especially this weekend at COTA. You had, and we'll talk about this in a moment, more than 50,000 fans in attendance. It was a big hyped up TV event. The race was going off as scheduled and was pretty entertaining throughout, I thought. I really hate to break up that action and kill the momentum and kill the vibe. Fans want to see how this thing is going to play out. You don't want to have to, put a 30-40 minute intermission red flag out in the middle of it if you don't have to. So I understand there are contributing factors at play. Keep in mind, NASCAR racing, as with literally any other major sports organization that's on TV, is expected to be entertaining. It does not exist if there are not people willing to spend their days watching it and enjoying it. So when you factor all that out, I understand NASCAR has a difficult decision, but I think it's fair criticism. They didn't seem to learn much from the Charlotte Roval Xfinity fiasco, so why should we believe them when they say they've learned from COTA? I really don't know what to say to that, because I think a lot of those criticisms are valid. I do like that NASCAR was saying afterwards that they're going to look at things they can maybe adjust on the car, maybe even for the next gen next year, that might be able to limit the effects of the spray and make visibility a little bit better. But perhaps maybe NASCAR, this is the final straw. Maybe that's just what it is. It takes two things to happen for NASCAR to finally act. Like after the Harvick and Bubba wreck, now we're going to sit on our hands and not do anything. It was after the Truex and Custer wreck. Okay, now we got to change something. Maybe that's what it takes. You had the Roval race, now you've had the COTA race, now NASCAR is going to actually take some action. Maybe that's all it is, so maybe they will change things. It certainly sounds like they intend on exploring opportunities to limit the effects of wet racing. But honestly, if, what's the next road course on the schedule? Sonoma? It's probably not going to rain much out in California, but let's say like Road America. Let's say it starts raining pretty hard midway through the Road America race. How long is it going to take NASCAR to... Well, first they'll throw the yellow flag immediately to let them switch to rain tires, but then how much rain will be too much rain for them to throw the red flag? If I'm not mistaken, that's going to be on big NBC. NBC's going to have a lot riding on that event. They don't want a big red flag intermission in the middle of the action. What's NASCAR going to do if faced with a similar situation again? I'm not convinced they will be quick on the trigger. I think it'll play out quite similarly. I think they're going to wait for a big incident to happen before they throw the red flag. They're going to wait for a wreck to happen. If the guys aren't wrecking, NASCAR is going to assume the visibility's okay. So I don't know what the right answer is, but definitely I think some of the criticism there is warranted. Now I want to end this Circuit of the Americas discussion on kind of a positive note. Now, as of the time I'm recording this, I have not seen any TV ratings numbers. It's Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully those numbers are good. We do have some ideas of attendance, and we also have some quotes from Marcus Smith, the head of Speedway Motorsports, who, of course, Speedway Motorsports leased COTA. They do not own Circuit of the Americas, but they worked with the owners of Circuit of the Americas to basically rent the track for this weekend. We have some quotes from Marcus Smith. Will NASCAR return to Circuit of the Americas next year? A world-class road course racing facility. I already said in my video Sunday that I'd like to see NASCAR return next year, and hopefully for the foreseeable future, at least give it a few years to see how it grows or how it establishes itself on the schedule. But here's some of what Marcus Smith said. This was in a USA Today article. When asked about attendance, Marcus Smith said, "We hit our numbers. They were more than appropriate for the pandemic situation we're in. A lot of people still have trepidation to come out. This checked all the boxes with our sponsors, TV partners, and the race teams. People enjoyed Austin, the market and the region responded. The sports world was talking about NASCAR going to Austin." Marcus Smith also estimated that the attendance was a little over 50,000 fans, which is pretty solid. That's as many or more fans than we've seen at any Texas Motor Speedway races the last couple of years. Also, according to this USA Today article, the main front stretch grandstands were sold out on Sunday, and Circuit of the Americas set a new personal best with over 1,000 camping areas sold. When talking about whether or not NASCAR will return to COTA next year, this is what Marcus Smith said: "We do have a renewal option with COTA, and we're encouraged by this weekend." simply left it at that. So Marcus Smith from Speedway Motorsports and Bobby Epstein is the owner or the head of Circuit of the Americas. They do have a 1-year deal in place for this season, but according to Smith, they do have a renewal option. So we'll see if the price is right. I know it's a weird situation because Speedway Motorsports has spent a lot of money over the years to build these big facilities like Texas Motor Speedway just a few hours up the road. And they're working behind the scenes at least to perhaps bring Nashville Fairgrounds and North Wilkesboro Speedway back onto the schedule as well. So the rental or the leasing price has to be right, I think, for Speedway Motorsports to continue this relationship with COTA. It sounds like most fans who attended this weekend really enjoyed the event despite the many weather complications. I hope Circuit of the Americas is back on the schedule next year. It sounds like people are at least loosely optimistic. We know NASCAR, at least from their side, is going to be aggressive, trying to add more road courses and more world-class sporting venues, trying to make big events throughout the calendar year. We know NASCAR is going to be aggressive. I think Speedway Motorsports by association will also be aggressive, but will the price be right? Can they come to an agreement? Will it make sense on paper? Marcus Smith sounded pretty pleased with how this weekend went, so hopefully that's good news for fans in Austin, Texas. I'll be back next year if they come back for sure. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like to see NASCAR return to Circuit of the Americas. What do you make of NASCAR's future racing in the rain? Let me know down in the comments. Now it's time for Show and Tell Tuesday. We got several packages to look at here. Thank you all so much for sending me packages. Thank you to everyone who sent me letters. I really enjoy reading those letters. Thank you all so much for contributing to the conversation and contributing to Out of the Groove. Let's see what kind of fun stuff is in these boxes. First up from Jared in North Carolina. Oh, I love the first thing I see. Look at this retro sticker. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. That's super cool, especially with them being a premier partner today, but these kind of older retro logos for both Busch and NASCAR matching. That's nice. I'll have to find a great place for that. Oh, there's some other retro goodies in here. Check this out, little Days of Thunder diecast cars. Whoa! It's like a whole series of Days of Thunder. Yeah, check it out. You got Cole Trickle's different paint schemes. They're still in the bag. I'll take them out of the bag. Oh yeah, this one, the mellow yellow car. Whoa, this looks super duper cool. You know, full disclosure, I had not seen Days of Thunder until last year. I watched Days of Thunder finally. It was pretty good. It was cheesy. Certainly felt like a lot of vintage 90s cheese, but you know, I like cheese sometimes. In fact, all the times I like me some cheese. So it was a fun movie. Definitely recommend to any hardcore NASCAR fan who hasn't seen it. I'm sure most of you have, and you're probably shunning me for waiting that long to see it, but I saw it, and it was good. I enjoyed it. Oh, check this out. It's like a whole play set. Whoa, I've never seen it. Tootsie Toy. Kind of brand name is that? But look at this thing in the packaging still. You got the crew guys. I like it's holding up. 1 lap to go. One. Oh yeah, NASCAR toys used to be really cool. Very diverse. You had a lot of different things. I love the figurines are a nice added touch. Thank you for sending, Jared. This next one comes from Nick in MT. Is that Montana? I think that's Montana. Montana, okay. Whoa, and he sent a couple different Matt Kenseth Daytona 500 50-year anniversary. This is 2008, so this is actually the year before Matt Kenseth won the Daytona 500, but look at the wing on the back of this. I like this packaging. Got a couple of them here. These look super duper clean. You know, this is one of the few Matt Kenseth paint schemes when they did the yellow number on the black door that I actually kind of liked. Usually I like the black numbers on the yellow door, the inverse, but this looks pretty cool. I actually always liked his Car Tomorrow DeWalt scheme. So thank you for these, Nick. This looks super duper cool. From James in Oklahoma. Oh, he sent some more Matt Kenseth cars. Y'all know what I'm into, and certainly what I can talk more about. This is his Busch Series car, 1999 Chevy Monte Carlo. Yeah, you can see. Can you see the Chevy on the nose? I know this is cursed. You're used to seeing the Roush Ford logos and things on it, but this was back when he ran a Chevy. He was still getting support from Roush back in the day, driving for Riser Enterprises. But yeah, technically the cars, at least the logos on them, were a Chevy. I know, kind of weird. Oh, whoa, I also sent one of the testing series cars. Oh, that's disgusting. Look at the number. What did they do? Is that just duct tape? Oh my gosh, you still got the DeWalt logo on the hood. I hope you guys can see that. But this is really cool. Kind of a unexpected and forgotten look that the test cars often took. Also threw in a Matt Kenseth championship car. Looks very nice, very clean. All right, this one comes from Benjamin. I accidentally opened the box already, but I shouldn't have because look what he wrote on the outside. Contains one groovy item. I hope the people at the post office treated this with the respect it deserves. This comes from Benjamin in Alabama, and he sent, oh boy, where are my Jimmy Johnson fans at? This looks so clean. This is, I believe, 2003? Yes, 2003. He says he found this at a thrift store. You can find some pretty special finds at thrift stores. This looks super nice. This is in great condition too. I don't see any nicks or dents or anything like that. Smooth. Man, these old Jimmy Johnson Lowe's paint schemes, classics. Not quite as iconic as like the Rainbow Warrior car or the Petty Blue or the Black number 3, but pretty dang close if you ask me. Appreciate you sharing. This looks great. This box comes from Lee in North Carolina. It's kind of heavy. Oh, and I see why. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, this is a throwback box. Get ready for some retro. Check it out, the Super Bird. I actually don't have any of these diecast cars from this era with this look with the wing. That is iconic. That's Richard Petty right there. This is incredible. Thank you for sharing, Lee. Oh, I wonder if he was named after Lee Petty. He's from North Carolina, according to the box. Ooh. Oh, and there are a ton of these types of things here. Mark Martin, the Valvoline car, official stock car collection. Yeah. Kind of simpler packaging than we get here today, but still looks pretty cool. Oh my goodness. It's a Dale Earnhardt Chevy Lumina. Whoa! Wait, it's missing the spoiler. Wow, you know, there's probably a lot of fans that wish they could do that to the cars here today, but this looks great. The red interior, the 3. The hood flies up, you get the GM Goodwrench logo. Dale Earnhardt. Very nice. I wonder, did the spoiler like break off and land in the box somewhere? Oh, well, what is this? Oh, I used to have one of these. This goes over like a light switch. This is Jeff Gordon. I had one that was Matt Kenseth. That was like his car from like a top view that I had over my closet light switch in my growing up in my house. Some stickers, Dale Jr. Budweiser. You got the Hendrick Motorsports, so several Hendrick cars. Oh, this is a cool sticker too. NASCAR race truck. Yeah, now all I gotta do is buy a pickup truck. You know, I should put this on my Camry. That'd be kind of funny. Maybe I will. I might. I'll think about it. Lots of miscellaneous stuff here. Is this like a DVD box set? Whoa, what the heck? This is some cool packaging. This is crazy. Whoa. Well, that's a good photo. I like that picture. This is wild. Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. If anyone's worthy of a super fancy like box set like this, it's Dale. I see. The first disc is the movie, Dale, and then the second disc is bonus features, then disc 3 is the 2000 Winston 500 race with Richard Childress commentary. They've got disc with Dale Earnhardt's greatest moments. They have one with just a bunch of old photos. Like, this thing's crazy. This is the ultimate Earnhardt fans' perfect box set. Thank you for sharing, Lee. I'm gonna have like a movie night, invite all my friends over and introduce them to the legend that is Dale Earnhardt. You know, fun fact about me, I have some good friends that live around here that I hang out with that don't know anything about NASCAR, if you can believe it. Like, whenever I do talk to them about NASCAR, it goes right over their head, but maybe this is the day. Maybe this is how I introduce them to the sport, by getting them hooked on one of the legends. Hopefully it works out, Lee. I will let you know. All right, this last box is labeled Fragile, from William in Pennsylvania. Let's dive right in. Okay, I got out. It's a car. Let's see what's inside. Are you guys seeing this? Holy moly. It's the Silver Bullet. Oh, look at how it hits the light. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but I got all these lights pointing at me. You can see the glossy, the shimmer. Whoa. Classic Sterling Marlin. Dodge, Coors Light Dodge. Really, really cool. Awesome throwback. One of the great NASCAR schemes of the 2000s. Maybe just ever. I think you could say ever, with the Rocky Mountains on the trim here, kind of along the side skirt. Even along the front of the car, they're down there. Majestic as always. Wow. This is gorgeous. This is, I hope the lighting, I hope the camera's doing it justice, because this is gorgeous. Whew. Oh, and I almost missed his letter, kind of buried at the bottom here. He goes by Billy, apologies. Billy from Pennsylvania. He says, in his opinion, Dodge always had the best looking paint schemes. Thank you for the very kind note, Billy. Thank you for the car. That's awesome to show off on camera. He also sent some trading cards. Let's look at these. Oh, these are pretty retro. Tony Stewart, Ward Burton. Is that Michael Waltrip? Who's that? Oh, I thought it said Aaron's at first. I was looking through the small screen. No, Dave Blaney, who won. I saw he won a World of Outlaws race like this past weekend. For the first time since I think it was since 1997. Congrats to Dave Blaney, that was huge. The first diecast car I remember owning, I had a 1/64 scale car version of this right here. So that's awesome. I really appreciate you sharing all this stuff with us, Billy. Thank you everyone who sent things in to Show and Tell Tuesday. I hope you all at home enjoyed watching. That's gonna do it for this video. I will see y'all next time. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss any future episodes. As always, a huge thank you to my amazing Patreon supporters. I could not do this show without your tremendous support. Really, really does mean the world to me. I know I said it during my post-race video on Sunday, but between all of y'all who came up and said hi to me at the racetrack this weekend, all of you who sent packages in for Show and Tell Tuesday, those of you who comment on videos, that last episode got over 1,000 comments in like less than 24 hours. This community is incredible, fantastic, amazing. Pull out the thesaurus, insert positive adjective here. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. I really, really do truly and honestly appreciate the support, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy all the future episodes that will be coming out very, very soon. We have a special guest on the channel tomorrow, and that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.